And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day of the Overwatch League APAC edition. Myself and Avril, we're in some nice little cosplay. This is our Mitch, Uber, Leslie, and Mr. X look. Let us know on Twitter how you think we did, because I think we kind of nailed it overall. What about you, Avril?
He doesn't normally wear the hood up, but I thought I would just do it anyway, just for the laughs.
You got to go for that extra
It's not very
casual.
comfortable. It's not very comfortable, if anyone's wondering. I don't know how he pulls this off. I don't wear anything like this normally, and it's not that. I don't know. Hoodies are meant to be. It's not even. I don't even know what this is. I don't wear stuff like this. But you look good. You look very Uber Mitch Uber Leslie today. And I frankly don't really know what I am anymore. But I do know we're in the middle of the Midseason Madness. With the Midseason Madness. Seoul Dynasty, Guangzhou Charge. What's good?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup, I think, right off the top, because obviously Seoul Dynasty looking incredibly strong, still going to be up there at the top of the standings, our current reigning champions after the kickoff clash. Guangzhou Charge down at the bottom of the standings, as we will take a look at this right now, but did put up the strongest performance, I think, that we've seen from them, and that's, I think, even considering that they have a victory under their belts. They looked a hell of a lot better yesterday versus the Chengdu Hunters than they did when they got their win versus the Valiant.
It was a marked improvement. You got to give them that. You know, Route 66 in particular, they took charge, pun intended here. They were in the lead. They won the map, deservedly so. They looked better than the Chengdu Hunters on that particular map. But as we got throughout the evening, you know, we had some close moments. But ultimately, Chengdu, we expected them to win. They are the better team so far in this meta and so far in the year as well. And for Charge, being on a 1-8 record, they have been eliminated. You can see on the graphic here, out of contention for the Midseason Madness tournament. They cannot catch up in any sort of way. But points still matter for the end-of-year playoffs. And, I mean, the games still matter as far as their own momentum, their own confidence. Do it for the fans as well. The only unfortunate thing, Achilles, is they got to play Seoul.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, if you can get the win here, I think that might make you feel a hell of a lot better about being eliminated. Taking down Seoul Dynasty would be an incredible feat. I also just realized that this is almost certainly going to make it onto the NA Watchpoint pre-show. They're gonna be talking about the outfits,
especially if you bring it up. If you say, I heard, if you say like, oh, this will be on NA or this will be on what's the thing again? The
Watchpoint.
Do they still do that? The caster thing that they did last year?
Caster comms? I don't know.
Yeah, we go. What happened to that? I don't know.
Maybe
Seoul Dynasty starting roster.
Brought it back.
Let's hope
we will
so.
see
Starting roster. Stalker's
more.
in here. That's the most important part. You are going to see Stalker. He's their current Sojourn player. Prophet just saw what we're wearing, so he's having a good laugh, I'm sure. Smurf as well understands. That's the Seoul Dynasty roster. Current reigning champions of the kickoff clash for the APAC region. Looking great as usual.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been utterly impeccable, and we had a couple question marks around, Stalker coming through when we first saw him, return, I guess, during mid-season. We saw him once, didn't go well. Now he's come back, and he has really been keeping up and kind of fighting for this position versus Fitz. We've seen them swap out, but widely they're playing roughly the same things, and they've been playing them incredibly well. That being said, though, there's the Seoul Dynasty. Let's take a look at the Guangzhou Charge. And here we go. Not much wiggle room here with the roster. Just going to be seeing the same squad that we saw yesterday that did perform quite well at moments throughout that series versus the Chengdu Hunters. Develop on Route 66, absolutely popping. And Far Away, I think, very much stole the show the whole series throughout.
Far and away the best outstanding member of yesterday, you might even say. As the one area that I'd actually like to see the Charge maybe... I was so close to saying develop on. I'm going to stop right there so I don't take this too far. But the one area that I'd like to see maybe Charge look at is whether there's still space for Rio to be added into the roster for certain maps. Because I did feel like looking at Oasis yesterday versus the Hunters, Rio's hero pool probably would have been a better fit for the Charge versus Hunters in that sort of scenario. Krong, known for the Zarya, known for the Sigma, he's great at those heroes, but sometimes you gotta have the Ryan capability, you gotta have the Ball capability, and also the Winston capability as well, which I don't think Krong really has as hero pool. Looking over towards our opening map though, Colosseo, Sigma, you can definitely one-trick on this particular map, and Charge did look pretty good here yesterday as well when they did play Sigma.
Yeah, that they did. I mean, Krong playing Sigma, you know, that's just bread and butter. That just goes hand in hand. Was one of our All-Stars, pretty much picking it up exclusively for his Sigma play a couple of seasons back. Was utterly impeccable and one of the best just people at keeping Sombra honest. We saw time and time again him nailing accretions midair, interrupting those EMPs when the EMP was such a powerful tool. Nowadays, not so much. Every now and then, you get that focus fire through and the Sombra can find some success, but we saw Charge try to pilot it on that map of Oasis. As you mentioned, didn't really go to plan at all.
Yeah, so push maps, far better for Sigma. I mentioned they played this yesterday. They played New Queen Street, obviously, but still push, right? So I'm talking about push overall as a game mode for them. See how things go tonight versus much tougher competition. Smurf coming through on the Sigma as well, so really is becoming meta in terms of what teams like to play. Also, going to be matching on the DPS department. Both teams looking towards the Hanzo as well as the Sojin.
All right, and here we go. Opening skirmishes coming through. As we just have to wait, as per usual, for the bot to unlock to get any real action. You can see Unique hovering around the outskirts there with Choice A1. Did have an impeccable Tracer performance yesterday, but we do have that Hanzo matchup for now, so arrows will be flying. Prophet had a very disgustingly great performance on that Hanzo on this very map just, I believe it was last week. Utterly destroying and one of the fastest build times on a Dragon Strike that I have ever seen. Now it's going to be trailing behind just a little bit as widely. And Guangzhou Charge have been playing back behind sight lanes. Does manage to get the better of Choice A1 there in that exchange. And Stalker in the meantime off screen will find Develop with a nice little rail headshot. Finds the opening kill. That's going to be the Dynasty getting the first push started.
And it seems like that was building for some time as well, because the initial skirmish saw that Develop went down to about 1 HP. That forced the charge backwards, losing a lot of control, losing a lot of map area as well. Instantly gained by the Seoul Dynasty. We saw it just a moment ago. Smurf kind of pushing right into Krong's face, backed by the rest of the Seoul Dynasty as well. And now the push will continue as, you know, ultimates start to come online. Smurf ahead of Krong by a fair margin. We talk about support ultimates as well. Far away has that window up.
Just Prophet now getting fun of the opening kill. Unique taking a little bit low, keeps the shield raised. Storm arrows expiring. Recon connecting onto him, and Prophet's going in for the kill. He wants to take him down. Jump in. Sojourn just playing Distract. The Storm arrow will get the finishing blow, and for now, Dynasty continue to push relatively unhindered. The Flux comes through from Smurf, slaps him down into the Immortality field. Can't quite kill that in time, but Smurf will find Develop on the back end all the same. Far away, tagged down to about half HP. Smurf just charging up right into Choice A1's face, and Vinheim is there to cover, provide some additional healing, and yeah, that's going to be the cap coming through. The bot will be taking its break, but the Dynasty certainly are not. They continue to play right out in front of the Charger spawn point.
And this is Prophet getting 2 critical kills, right? Straight away, one onto, I believe it was Choice A1, and that's a 5 versus 4. It comes at a moment where Farway actually wants to use his window as well. The response flux from Krong this time. Does he get a kill though?
It catches 2, and the rally was rolling from Vinheim. Helps keep them alive, offering up that green health. Now the barrier right there in the stairwell. Just prodding through. Krong and Unique trying to go on the offensive here, but Stalker, he pops the overclock, manages to find Develop first and foremost. Choice A1 will manage to take down Smurf, breaking down that front line just a bit. As the rails continue to fly, but Develop, see if he can answer back now that he has respawn. Help them win out the rest of this fight. Dragon Strike going to be used by Prophet. Doesn't manage to find any eliminations. In fact, Choice A1 cuts him down to size. The Charge will finally win a fight and gain control of the bot, but it's a massive amount of distance to try to make up for. 104 meters already set here for the Dynasty.
Which means Dynasty can now just play defensive for the rest of this 7 minutes, right? It's almost painful to say that when you have, look, 10 minutes expired, 3 minutes spent, multiple fights won by the Seoul Dynasty, 104 meters push. Doesn't even matter that they lost the last fight. The goal is not to try and finish the map. The goal is to win by distance here, which Seoul Dynasty have in spades at this moment. Great opening pick by Choice F1, and that's what they need to get started.
A little bit of an odd jiggle out there from Prophet. Pushed out around the corner, and oh, what a headshot from Choice A1. Taking down Stalker in midair. Not pulling back after getting hit by the rail. Now turns the sights over to Smurf, who's trying to escape. Medic Grasp already having been used. They're trying to get in on top of this Sigma. May just be able to do so as they continue to chase. No, he's going to actually try to turn this around now. Goes for the Flux, drops down Unique, and the kill will come through. Prophet there for the alley-oop, but that's going to be a major pickoff here for the side of the Dynasty. You can now stop this bot.
And it looks expensive, right? You're like, okay, Smurf, just solo altered unique. What's the deal with that? It actually ends up being pretty effective. You see instantly payload control goes back over towards the Seoul Dynasty. Charge back out. They know they're down numbers. They don't want to push in unless they have the full 5. So you only need to get that one pick. And that's defense successful now. Off of one Sigma Flux, they get control.
Yep, it's great moment-to-moment decision-making there from Smurf, knowing his limits. Gets away with it. Looked like he was certainly going to be taken down. First rail not going to hit. Overclock at the ready for develop. Stalker nearly catching up as well. First it's going to be the Dragon Strike to try to create some space. Split Smurf and the support's apart, but Vinhame manages to get on top of develop. I thought Vinhame was out on an island, but no. He says, you're locked in here with me. Gets that kill far away, trying to survive, but there's just no hope for that one. The cleanup coming through. It's an extended team kill. And now the bot might just even be able to gain more distance.
And I'm surprised that Charge didn't push a little bit harder there, because you see the extra ultimates available, right? 3 more, including a window, actually, which would mean 4. Varway nearly has that online. They Dragon in, but don't quite get to follow the Dragon. They split up the entire Seoul team. You mentioned that Smurf got caught onto the side as well, and yet the Charge still stood idly. They didn't really take use of that moment. Worse still, because Seoul win their fight, they're instantly on the bot, and they've got extra payload. They've got 118 now.
Okay, Develop finally going to be able to use this overclock. I think it might be the first time that he's been able to pop this. Vinhame trying to survive with the rally, but it's not going to be good enough. Everybody piles in on top of the Brigida. They get the elimination. Smurf going low in the corner. It's got nowhere to retreat to, so will end up falling. Not quite the headshot that he was looking for, but still tags up Stalker. Should end up dying here in just a moment. As they're looking for him, they finally find him.
Yeah.
Not too much, no distance going to be gained here by the bot. Still in the exact same position. The Charge certainly have their work cut out for them as we go to halftime here. 4 minutes remaining.
And Stalker, you'll see as well, doesn't even mind just kind of staggering himself to try and get an additional kill. Anything here would slow down the Charge significantly. Another thing, macro-wise as well, is because Seoul push extra distance, they've actually reached 120 now. That's basically a cap at this stage, everything but getting all the way to the end. And I don't know if we've ever seen a full Colosseo cap just yet. Maybe someone can tell me, but to my knowledge, no team in the Overwatch League is actually... We have fully finished Colosseo. I know we've done it in Queen
certain that we've cast one.
We'll have to... Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to go back and check that a little bit later. But in any case, here comes that window. I was going to say, ultimates being forced out on Guangzhou's side of the map is not good, because now they don't have those same ultimates to try and push into Seoul's territory.
Always a chance that I could be wrong. Flux not going to find too much, just chunks away at Krong. He uses a Flux himself and sets up for some nice kills. Choice they want. Sniping Prophet gets the headshot on a creative follow-up. Looks for a little bit more as Stalker tries to survive. It's going to be Krong who does claim that killing blow, and now the Charge can get back to pushing once Smurf is dealt with. Should happen here. But yeah, I mean, this is going to have to take a relative miracle for the Guangzhou Charge to be able to swing this back. We've seen it happen before. Can it happen now?
The sad thing about, this sort of situation is because Seoul got such an incredible lead in the first 3 minutes, I mean, it does kind of feel like the rest of the 7 minutes are a little bit for naught. Dragon Strike to clear the high ground here inside the building, and actually gets killed to Prophet as well. This is reasonable coming through from Choice A1.
Nice pick off. Choice A1. I mean, he was massive yesterday, and he's really coming up huge when they need him. Goes for creative, gets the headshot. Beautifully done, looks for a little bit more. Vinhame having to tuck back away behind that projected barrier. Choice A1 does take a tag in the leg, but is all right. Let's continues the hunt, trying to find Prophet once more, take him out of the fight.
This is huge. I mean, they got the cap already as well. It's basically just off of his 3 kills alone. Choice of one, they don't have to spend ultimates. They don't have ultimates to spend, so the only way you're going to get value is to find these solo pickups, and Choice had plenty to play with so far. Actually making reasonable distance here. Another pick.
I don't think Prophet quite realized exactly where Choice A1 was. Otherwise, he should not have been jumping out of the window like that. Gets taken down, just effectively says, here, kill me for free. It's good on Stalker to find the headshot. Go ahead, get Choice A1 out of the fight. So a Hanzo for a Hanzo. Prophet, obviously with a faster run back, but now Stalker will go down. Krong building up the flux. Tries to go for the stun here onto Smurf. Smurf still popping, knows the accretion is done, so it can't be interrupted. Drops Krong down to the floor. Then Grass keeps him safe for a little bit longer, but Smurf will get the melee execution. Mortality field there to try to buy some time as Develop goes lower and lower, and Prophet will be able to scoop the kill in the end. The bot now shifting back, but a huge run back there for Charge. If they can quickly regain control, there's a hope for them.
They have to win multiple fights, so the issue is now they're down on ultimates. Well, they have the Dragon Strike because Choice One got a lot of kills, but is that going to be enough? We've already seen them kind of flub a Dragon Strike fight previously. More ultimates are available for the Seoul Dynasty, and they're resetting the bot back into neutral territory, so it's rough. It's rough for the Charge. They have made reasonable distance. I think this is a lot of distance for a team that was so far behind. They at least got that silver lining.
So Juan's playing on the high ground. Dragon Strike now available. Just taking some pod shots across the way, hoping that somebody's going to push out around the corner.
By the way, look how passive Seoul are. They don't have to push into Charge. Charge have to push into Seoul, so Seoul can just play defensively. They're forced into it now because Stalker dies.
Yeah, but the Dragon Strike, it goes off. He's thinking that he's going to catch people, flush them out into the front, but with that initial kill on a Stalker, that's exactly where the Charge want to be. They want to be rushing down the Seoul Dynasty, and that's exactly what they're doing. The kill's coming through. Smurf once more going to be the last one to fall.
OT coming.
And overtime is coming through. 21 meters, what they have to make up for with this push, but they already have the checkpoint. They don't have to worry about the delay. They just now have to win the fights. Develop almost has an overclock. The window nearly there as well to pair with it. See if the Charge can make it happen.
Has to be perfect. I gotta say, with 20 meters remaining, they can absolutely do this, but it will require about 2 perfect fights here, maybe even 1 if Seoul fail to push, and currently they're playing very slowly.
They get the Immortality field taken down. Just 11 meters now left to go, but Prophet's going to fall. Choice A1 finds the elimination. The overclock is popped. Prong going to die, however. Stalker with an overclock of his own gets unique. Everyone will fall, and right at the final hurdle, even with losing Prophet off the rip, the rest of the Dynasty will be able to clutch it out. It was looking fantastic for the Charge. Kudos to them for not giving up. They ran it back in a way that I didn't really anticipate, but unfortunately, it's just a little bit shy of the mark. 11 meters too far away to be able to claim victory here on map number 1. But once more, it is a good showing for the Charge. Even in the loss, they are still looking competitive.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because after 3 minutes, you're looking at the distance, you're looking at what they had to work through, and you're thinking this is not going to go well. Very unlikely that they will win. Indeed, they didn't win, but credit where credit is due. They pushed very far. It was 109 to 120. I mean, that's a hell of a comeback for the Guangzhou Charge to attempt. And I think on any other game mode or a different kind of map, that's not on push, they probably could have actually won that one. But in that sort of situation in OT, perfect play required. And if Choice of One doesn't pop off on that initial drive for them to get the 109, they wouldn't have even gone that far in the first place. And you'll see stat-wise that he did actually get a deadlift there as well. 15 out of 30 frags. So Choice of One on that Hanzo doing God's work for the Guangzhou Charge.
It certainly was. A very nice showing there from Choice A1. The rest of the Charge, if they can just level up a little bit, they will be able to claim our next map. It's going to be Dorado for Escort. We'll see what happens, see if the Charge can get this tied up, or if the Dynasty will be able to move it forward 2-0, so don't go anywhere. And we are back, one map out of the way. Coliseum going over to the Seoul Dynasty. Guangzhou Charge, though, keeping it competitive, nearly making the miracle run back after a 120 meters start for the side of the Dynasty. They get close, they get 11 meters away or so, but can't quite cut it. Now we turn our sights over to Dorado to see if the Guangzhou Charge can tie things up.
Yeah, and honestly, that was a good showing from the Charge. It wasn't enough to win. I think, had they been able to reduce the meterage from the Seoul Dynasty, I think the most important part was you'll notice that Seoul's original push was something like 104, and then they made it to 120 after that, or something like that. So had Charge maybe prevented the 120 from occurring, that may very well have been a Charge comeback, and a exceptionally rare 100-meter plus comeback as well, which basically doesn't happen. I don't think it actually has happened before. Paris got close versus Houston, or the other way around, not too sure anymore, but in either case, on a map like Coliseum, you just don't really see it. So credit to Choice1, who those 3 to 4 frags that he solo killed in Seoul Dynasty territory absolutely made the difference. And now we'll see if Choi can do it again on further maps. As like you sort of mentioned here, we're going to Dorado. Fitz coming in to play the Widowmaker, and the Sojin as well. Fitz and Stalker both sharing that role. But for a map like this, you need some hard sniping hit scan, and that's what Fitz is known for.
That he is, but yeah, I mean, Choice1 kind of having Prophet's number, something that we don't get to say about a lot of people in that first map. We'll see how he fares going into the next one with Dorado and see what they're going to be piloting as well on either side. See what these comps look like, because I feel like it's been a good little while since we've seen Dorado here in APAC.
I'll add one extra thing here as well in terms of commentary from that last map just before we head into Dorado, as we're about to load into the map. But, you and I, we've had some talk and criticism about Smurf Sigma in the past, but I gotta say, on that last map, he stood up. He actually played so well that he, stat-wise, outperformed Krong, but not only that, but made very, I think, well-positioned individual decisions as well. His own understanding of positioning and pacing when, they had the initial damage onto, who was it, Develop in the first skirmish, and they all pushed up, Smurf getting in Krong's face. The solo flux onto Unique that ended up turning a fight. I mean, stuff like that. Smurf has been a player that I think is leading the role as far as Overwatch 2 5v5 tank, a guy that plays it all, has now a mastery over the off-tank hero pool as well as the main tank hero pool, and even though we've sort of had comments about some of his off-tank heroes before, he's only gotten better over time with every single game we've seen.
Yeah, that he has. It's been such a just steady upward trajectory there. Here we go. Charge first on the defense. We will see the Ashe and the Tracer. Choice1 was looking excellent on this pick as well just yesterday, finding multiple, tags coming through. Multiple sticks with those pulse bombs. Fits for now. So going to see if he can spot anybody. Sees a Doom Fist. Not exactly going to be prime real estate when it comes to getting a headshot, though.
Smurf. Changing to Doom as well, so
okay.
Gives them permission to play the Doom matchup here. Prophet as well going over towards the Tracer. You want to counter the Doom. Tracer, shown in the kickoff flash meta, was a great sort of soft counter towards that. And, Fitz has to be a little bit careful now, because Krong can just dive on top of Fitz at any particular point, so he has to play this one with a little bit of trepidation. Fairly passive start for Krong, though. Doesn't want to commit just yet.
Like that he can't really throw much at him, so he just throws a poison trap up there. Like, come on, step in it, so at least I can see where you're at. Does not, but he gets the opening headshot.
Step into my shot.
Yeah, Develop. He just kind of walked right in front of the crosshair. Fitz said thank you very much. All he had to do was pull the trigger. It was made easy for him. Krong, however, does get involved, finds creative, and Fitz gets taken down. So definitely a massive trade up here, you would say. But now Krong falling does equalize things a little bit. Choice1 still getting down to 30 here. Up close and personal will find Vinheim. As Charge continued to just keep this payload locked into position. Good efforts from Choice1. Now going to look to make his exit down to 3 HP. Prophet dashes, gets that kill, but Develop very quickly thereafter manages to trade it right back. Cart will start getting some distance, though, as Krong rejoins. Smurf going to be taking a nap. Can they get the execution? They're looking for it, but Fitz snipes far away right in the skull. They will still get the kill on the tank, though. And Fitz now has to pull back out of that high ground position.
But it's super important that Charge are getting these return frags. You'll notice so far there's not been a single kill from the Seoul Dynasty that the Guangzhou Charge haven't responded to. That's going to give them the opportunity to still have respawns, still be able to contest. They're not currently doing so effectively now as they're still waiting for members to come through, but payload has currently stalled. We're waiting for Krong to engage.
Just taking it slow and steady here. Double Anti out onto the supports to the side of the Dynasty. The dash forward Prophet trying to get that kill on a Krong.
Krong lives.
He raises the fists, yeah. Gets that damage mitigation coming through. Manages to survive and develop. Gets a nice headshot there on the Fitz. Krong now taking down Creative. Prophet falling as well. And Smurf is the last man standing, and he will not be able to exit. He's just going to get taken down. A quick little punch from Krong. Comes up with 2 on the back end, and it's 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining here for the Dynasty.
Well, that was a really good pocket towards Krong as well, keeping him alive. It was a 1 HP that we saw on the top HUD there. If Krong dies, I think that defense is probably shot. Krong actually didn't even have. I don't think he had the meteor strike just yet. So Seoul Dynasty very close to turning that one over and capping. Payload now slowly moving backwards, like you said, time becoming an issue now. But Ultimate's online, however, it is online for both teams, so this next fight's going to decide a lot.
Oh, Nano going through. Creative does nail the sleep dart. They whip shot him away. It's not going to wake him up. Rally now rolling from Unique despite the deaths. Going to try to survive and hold out until the rest of the team can rejoin. For now, he's playing rather elusively, just dodging and ducking around the cart, but eventually the rest of the team does collapse in upon him. The rare sleep dart kill comes through for Creative, and it will be that 2.5 minute bump up in the time bank for the Dynasty. Not going to be full held.
So Nano's replied to both of our tanks there, but when you look across the board, far more invested by Seoul Dynasty. They would be desperate to actually get that cap, knowing that time was working against him, and while Guangzhou Charge failed to respond with a few of their own. Would have loved to have seen the Bob in that previous fight. Not going to be the case now, as still not great time remaining for the Seoul Dynasty. This is unlikely to be a push that they can push to the finale of the map. I don't think this is going to go into the time bank at all. So the question will be for the Charge, where does the hold happen? Can they actually do it on B?
Pulse bomb going through. Choice A1 managing to find Vinheim. Meteor strike used by Krong. Wants to try to drop down on top of Fitz. Offers up a little bit of damage, but Develop will find the headshot in the end. So a nice little one fight here. Now for the Charge, as Prophet will be found out. Fist raised, blocking some damage. Krong just gonna back away from the fight. Says, yeah, I probably won't be able to lock you down. I'll just let you just go ahead and fight against somebody else.
Yeah, Payload wasn't really moving too much there as well, but now it's starting to pick up a little bit more pace. As for the side of Charge, I mean, they can't play this one passively. They have to engage fights even without ultimates. Great stick as well. Straight up to Develop.
Nice. Yep. Really big opening kill. Now far away, trapped in the doorway. The body block from Smurf doing wonders. They have him completely surrounded. The kill comes through. That's the support's now gone. Krong as well going to fall. A great amount of space now here for the side of the Dynasty as they continue to push forward, making decent time. They need every little second they can get, given that initial hold that was coming through from the Charge.
A super important fight for the Seoul Dynasty, right? Because Charge were in position to go for a play, but Prophet landed the stick first. Charge couldn't respond, they couldn't trade, they lose that fight. And now in the final moments of B cap here, asked, can they hold B? It's looking more like a C hold at the moment. Depending what happens to Krong here, can he receive a Nano? Farway's nearly there.
Smurf dropping into the back lines, and yep, with that shot going through, they set up for the elimination. Fitz trying to grapple away. The recall going to be used. Can they save him? And the answer is going to be yes. Far away now going to be taken down as the follow-up kills continue to fly through. Develop not really anywhere to go. Prophet will be able to claim him in the end. The cart has now entered the final stretch. The door will raise, and it's 2 minutes and 23 seconds for this final push for the side of the Dynasty, and they have a hell of a lot of ultimates to work with.
Yeah, so the snowball is definitely real. I mean, there's now more of an opportunity to actually finish the map because Seoul just haven't had to use ultimates to actually push. I mean, sure, the Meteor Strike was used in the previous fight, and now Pulse was successfully onto Unique. This is just putting Charge further back. They're failing to trade.
Yeah, struggling to get out of the spawn room there. Further delaying the rally. Unique still not that far away. And oh boy, Choice A1 gets caught, gets annihilated. The support's collapsing in on top of him. The kill comes through, and the cart in the meantime has been pushing for free, completely unhindered. No one has been able to contest because the Charge have not been able to gather up as a 5-man unit. They finally now have their opportunity in the final stretch. The Nanos going to go out onto either Doomfist, respectively. Rally rolling from both of the Brigidas as well. First punch comes through. Choice A1 gets on top of Fitz. That's a Widowmaker eliminated, but Prophet does very much the same on the opposite side. Finding that elimination on to Develop. Meteor Strike used by Smurf. Drops down. It's going to be antied out for now, but still manages to outtrade. Wins against Faraway. Gets the punch out there on a Krong. Tries to buy himself some space for some reinforcements to come through, but there's no reinforcements to be found. Krong, in the meantime, going to be taking a nap. As the cart just 0.58 meters left to go. Krong, he comes back through the Meteor Strike at the ready. Unique going to be swapping over to the Lucio. And a speed boost back
Doesn't
in.
use
Prophet
it.
holding on to yet another pulse bomb. Throws it out. Gets the stick. Unique is out of the fight. Krong dead as well. Doesn't get to use that meteor strike as you say. And yep, you can see through walls. You can shoot Prophet in the head. But you cannot contest the card as a Widowmaker. 55 seconds left in the time bank. The Dynasty will complete.
I mean, speaking of contesting card, there just wasn't one for about 2 points there. A was a fantastic defense for the Charge. They played the timer down, nearly down to 0 there. Barely enough time for the Seoul Dynasty to get anything done on B and C. But look at where the payload was the entire way through. They had an unimpeded push all the way from the start of B to the end of C. It was all Seoul Dynasty fight wins. And realistically speaking, I mean, looking at the time, if there was even one reset there from the Guangzhou Charge on the Seoul Dynasty where they get to actually set up a real defense, Seoul Dynasty have to wait for respawns, it would go to OT, OT would heavily favor the Guangzhou Charge, and they would successfully hold, if not B, then definitely C. But when you're getting snowballed so heavily, and we have to kind of go back a couple of fights now where Seoul Dynasty get to camp B completely for free. No ultimates expended minus a meteor strike. That can't be allowed because Charge on the A defense were at least trading evenly. That's something I specifically said that was good about the Charge A defense that was completely missing from the rest of the defense.
All right, well, let's see how the Charge now fare. Fits with the defensive Widowmaker sight lines. Could do wonders for the side of the Dynasty. Still down to the wire. It's just going to be peeking, seeing it if anyone comes out the far left door. We can tell it's not going to be the case, and certainly the Charge should have a sense that somebody could be watching this. Oh, well, I said that.
Oh, but the shot not gonna hit. A very singular angle, isn't it, though? Because you see the initial 2 entrances, and now he's going to have to move away. Develop sniping, of course, is his best hero, the Widowmaker. We didn't get to see too much of it on the defense. You'll notice that he got stuck by Prophet as the Ashe swaps to the Widowmaker. They lose the B fight immediately, and then C is not a good point for sniping for Develop. So very sad state of Widowmaker play for Develop on that defense. Hoping that'll turn around now for the attack. I think it's going to be a much better time being an offensive Widowmaker, especially with A to play through.
Yeah, I like the swap here from far away. Goes for the Zenyatta. Smurf going to be having a bit of a rough time if Charge can play like they did yesterday. Krong on the Diva is, you know, something that we don't get to see too often.
It's because he can't play the Winston, right? This is he has 2 options here as far as dive heroes. He can play the Doom, or he can play the Diva. Everything else is not really within his hero pool. So that's the problem with running a player like Krong on a map like this, whereas Rio could play the Bull, he could play the Winston. He has more options, but currently Krong is the starter on this tank role.
We'll see what he can get done with it. Thinking back to the triple mech recall kill on this very map. Don't think that's quite going to happen. So just some void things there from the Shanghai Dragons. Dash into the back. There's the stick. And
some Prophet things.
Yep. Prophet finding that kill. A little bit of a minor, you know.
We've had that bug before, actually. We have had that one.
It's devouring the remains of the pulse bomb after it drops off of Unique's dead corpse is basically what it is. Choice A1 will find creative though, so a good answer back 1 for 1 on the exchange between the supports. Creative now going to be respawning, looking to rejoin. That nano boost is nearly available, which will make for the bit of cleaner dives for Smurf. Doesn't have to worry as much about the Discord orbs there from far away. Vinheim now under fire and will die. Choice A1 getting on top of him. Huge pick off.
SRB forced nano here. I mean, Creative doesn't quite have it yet, barely. Will make it happen in terms of finding the charge. Use it on Smurf, surely, to get him in.
Yep, Smurf now going to be jumping into the back lines, and you can see even with that nano, the Discord orb, the focus fire does wonders to take down the Scientist. Smurf out of the fight. Prophet now trying to keep the cart contested. Has burned the recall. Dashing and ducking around the side. The Transcendence now going to be used as well as they wait for Smurf to rejoin the Primal Rage, just 10% out. Fitz pulling back, as is the Zenyatta. Prophet going to be the one that has to try to hold this. Dash to the back. Choice A1 going to be met with a sleep. Self-destruct from Krong, not going to be able to find any eliminations, and Choice A1 does get finished off Vinheim there with the headshot, playing off the back of Creative setup. They get that elimination. Prophet, however, now going to fall. Creative going to be taken down as well. Into the corner goes Fitz, and he is going to remain there. It seems like the Charge should be able to win out the fight. Smurf, knowing wisely that the Primal Rage will not buy them any additional time, just saves it for the next follow-up fight. The cart will push through, and it's nearly 3.5 minutes now for the Charge in the second stretch.
Speaking of the Primal Rage, by the way, Smurf didn't have it during the Nano, right? The Nano was partially to get Smurf in to contest the payload and partially to help him build towards that Primal. Had he received the Primal, in terms of doing the damage required, could have been a different story. Soul maybe maintain control and position of the payload on that A defense, but they're just sort of on the comeback, right? They have to try and retake. To be fair, the retake somewhat successful in forcing out ultimates. They will at least make it expensive for the Charge, something the Charge didn't really do to the Seoul Dynasty on their own defense. So Seoul burning away some time, still reasonable, 3 minutes. It's about what Seoul had on their attack here, so we're looking at even amounts of time.
Okay, Vinham finding the better of Faraway. Choice A1 with that pulse bomb wasn't able to catch Fitz. So Fitz now just repositioning, gonna make his way through the opposite side of the church. Get a nice little straight shot, but oh boy, speaking of straight shots, develop straight into the skull of Vinham. Finding some revenge there for Faraway, who's got a much faster run back. Fitz, however, will find Choice A1. At long last has been on the hunt for that Widowmaker, but the Widow comes up trumps.
And slowed things down quite considerably. You'll remember that Seoul at this exact same time continued pushing through B, but already a major slowdown from the Charge side of things. Develop opening up the frags, but unable to translate that as a team into anything further. So if Develop can do it again, that would be great. He has another advantage on the infra site. Fitz has been behind of Develop by a rough 20%. Smurf's found him on the back.
Speaking of behind, Smurf, yep, diving into the back, takes quite a bit of damage out, and Prophet will manage to get the alley-oop. The pulse bomb goes through just to catch the Widowmaker. Thought maybe he would save that for a bit of a more prime target, such as Unique, given that he nearly has that rally online. But he says, no, I'll just go ahead, get rid of the infra site, take out that Widow, let our supports breathe more easily and get into a more advantageous position. As you can see, Vinham there on the high ground now, feeling a bit more comfortable.
I mean, sometimes it's kind of worth, right, because you'll give Fitz the favorable matchup here. He doesn't have to play up against a infra site. Yep. So, it comes up to what you value in terms of the cast. In terms of, what I value in the cast. So in terms of what you value on that defense.
Oh,
and Smurf hunting Develop again. He's just keeping that Widowmaker down.
Now, there's nothing you could do. Bionade that time, not going to find anything. Self-destruct used by Krong. Not going to find anything, but we'll be able to remech safely. The rally rolling, just offering up some green HP. But Wiley, the cart is still not moving. Prophet has been able to contest this, and now Smurf rejoins the fight. Unique going to fall immediately after the ult expires, basically. And Smurf is straight back in on the Develop, and there's just not a damn thing that Faraway can do. He was living up to his name all the way over here in the banker. Nearly his name, just missing an A. Either way, wasn't in range, couldn't do anything. Now they all fall apart. Choice A1 being hunted. Prophet says, yep, I've got a recall back up. I can fight you here.
It's going to be a late
stagger. He's got the rest of the team to reinforce. That's a massive stagger. And now it's 26 seconds left.
And even less considering, Charge have to regroup quickly here. Choice A1 dying is another 10 seconds off the table. So that 30 becomes a 20. And even less as Charge still kind of just look for initial positioning. Developer so concerned about being flanked. He has the Widow Mine behind him, right? So this pressure from Smurf has been so unreal today and giving Fitz a fantastic matchup where otherwise Develop would have shined.
Smurf playing like a sneaky monkey. Hanging out just behind the wall, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Fitz, however, does get taken down, but as Smurf strikes, Faraway falls. Unique dead as well. That is the support's now gone. The Primal Rage will finish off Develop, but it's just Krong and Choice A1 against the world, against the defending champs. The kickoff clash. Krong antied out, does its damnedest, gets the punch, but will fall. Choice A1 with the last second tag in, but cannot do anything else. The cart will rest, just turning the corner in front of B, and Seoul Dynasty will win the map, now moving up 2-0.
That was flawless. I mean, that B defense was so pristine coming through from the Seoul Dynasty. Prophet and Smurf again working to perfection on that defense. We've actually seen this before. I can't remember who they were playing against, but there was that very, pristine clip of them, Prophet and Smurf diving on a Widowmaker together on that sort of A-ending archway, right? The Dorado defense for Seoul Dynasty, once again, still stronger than ever. I have to say, man, Smurf making a Winston look good in this meta, where Winston usually is a bit of a detriment. It's got to be said. I just think Smurf is, in my opinion, the best Overwatch 2 tank. He really is just the best 5v5 tank runner. He's got it all. He's got the off tanks covered. He's got the main tanks covered. Fantastic synergy with everybody. He's a 2-time champion for a reason. He dipped Krong in this matchup as well. I mean, it's a bit of a team dip, but also Smurf individually. Look at the way he just shuts down everybody. Shuts down Develop, gets away with his life. Everything is in this man's hands. Seoul Dynasty are unstoppable because everybody is playing at such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, Smurf, just like you said, just living up to the name, he is smurfing, it would seem. But if anybody could make the Winston work in this meta, it's got to be him. Was very much in contention for best Winston in the world in the past, and I think very clearly is. I don't really think it's really debatable right now in the world here in 2022, the best Winston that we have in the league. Incredible performance from him and the Dynasty on that point B defense. Now we turn our sights over to Eichenwalde to see if the Guangzhou Charge can stay alive in the series, put a map win up, extend this to control, or if it's going to be a 3-0 sweep once more at the hands of the Dynasty. Don't go anywhere. And we are back and going into what could very well be the last map of our first series of the day. Dynasty just looking utterly impeccable. It was a good start for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, managing to get that push into point A with, not relative ease, I suppose, but They got there had a good amount of time in the time bank, but the Dynasty just continued to grind away at it, whittled it down to nothing, cleaned them off the cart, and get the win. A lot of it having to do with Smurf, who's currently the front runner for player of the match. So we'll see what happens, though, as we go into Eichenwalde to potentially close things out.
A was where it was close, and then the rest of the map was not, unfortunately. So, you know, kind of where the cookie crumbles there for the Guangzhou Charge. And once again, similar stories, right, where we look at previous Charge matches, not just this one, but then analyzing this one as well. When you look across Coliseum, moments at Dorado, and you got to say, I mean, it sound like a broken record at this stage. They look good at reasonable times. You know, they are competing here or there, but not quite enough to be able to really close it out. Right, and if they do close it out, they get that one map win of Route 66 versus Guangzhou Hunters. Not enough to continue that with any sort of consistency to take it any further than that. And, you know, take us to about 5, close an entire series. It's been rough.
Sorry to our riders, but I mean, can't help it. Dynasty have a very nice win rate on Hybrid versus this squad right here, the Guangzhou Charge. We will have a pause right off the rip, so hopefully get that taken care of. Usually over here in APAC, we're able to scramble our admins, scramble our IT squad a little bit faster, and get things taken care of and get back into the game with relative ease.
You're the master of pauses, aren't you? I mean, you're the most experienced pauser of casters. I would even say globally of any game, any caster, of any time period. So, you know, you're
there's
like,
a couple out there who would give me a little bit
It's you
of
or like
my
Monty
money,
Doa, you know, maybe.
I think Pansy in some other esports has had an immense amount of pauses throughout her career. So she and I kind of share in that burden, and I'm reminded constantly by my co-casters that it's always my fault that we have to experience pauses. But as of late, at least in Overwatch, they have been pretty quick. I can't really remember the last time I had an extremely long pause in Overwatch. Actually, I can. I think it was the Unco pause of 2019 was the last time I had an incredibly long technical difficulty, but if I'm incorrect about that,
not this one.
Somebody else will remind me for sure. But not today. We're already back in.
Yep. And just talking about some of the hovers here, obviously no major lock-ins until we get in, so I'll bring up the Smurf Ryan quickly, as it is a fair possibility. I think Ryan's got a reasonable matchup onto A, especially versus a Sigma. Maybe a little bit more questionable as we head into B than good on C again, but that's kind of the flexibility you get with Smurf. He'll start out on the Sigma, which is a lot safer. Might even just decide to stay on this, as the Sigma versus Sigma matchup is going to be decent. We'll have a look at what the swaps are going to be. Vindame staying on the break even, so they're not that interested in having like a Vap Zen kind of combo to really poke out, but they are interested in having the Hanzo at least to poke out the Shield of Krong.
Decent shield break there. I mean, Smurf, as long as he can get those barriers placed, it's going to be a rough time to develop and Choice A1 to try to get their shots through. And now Choice A1 is going to be sniped out of the air. Okay, what a shot from Prophet. Knew exactly where that Echo was going to be. Reveals everybody there with the recons now. It's wrapping around the side. He's looking for the headshot here on a Faraway, who does get tagged up a bit. Looks like he will be able to survive by using his shift ability. Develop, however, has fallen, and it's going to be an incredibly fast cap. I mean, it looked like Stalker was going to get that kill. Nope, it's Creative. Creative takes it away. Stalker will get Krong in the end. And there you go. Okay, 5.5 minutes in the time bank. Vroom, vroom.
They're like, you know, they're like hungry piranhas. You know, they're all just taking their turn, coming in, trying to get a bite, fighting over the frags,
piranhas eat rather slowly. Well. This was more like lions eating gazelles.
So more like, I think more like movie Hollywood piranhas, you know, where they try to make them way scarier than they really are. Except Seoul Dynasty really are just that scary. You know, you say lions, but I say tigers. See what I did there? As a Seoul Dynasty now, like you mentioned, 5+ minutes pushing on through major, ultimate advantages. Krong at least is keeping up.
Well, already Cart going to be making its way through the Portcullis. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Say just contestants out of the castle. If you don't know how to spell it, to make sure.
Just try.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to sound out, I think, but just start with port and then I. And you can go from there. But for now, yeah, just pushing their way through up onto the ramparts. If you don't know what that is, you can also Google it. This is just the
any more castle
structure. Someone's going to point out that I'm actually really incorrect about what a rampart is, actually. But good amount of damage going through there onto Creative for just a brief moment. There's the Flux dropping him down. Immortality Field actually a little bit late, but helps him survive on the back end. Felt
Oh,
the
that's a
nade will
cancel
find the
box.
elimination. Creative still going to die. Stalker does get the better of the counterpart Sojourn. Pushing up, Rally rolling, Vinhaim looking to escort, and yep, the cleanup will be there. As Krong and Choice A1 end up going down, and in the meantime, hey, the cart, it's pushing across the bridge. Prophet kills Unique, and this fight is a wash.
So, which means it's been like mostly a 4v5 as well, because the Seoul Dynasty pushed through the actual castle. Look at this. One fight went on B, and they've got a full cap. That can't be possible. You never see situations where you very rarely see situations where a team only has to take one fight on B, and they get a cap out of that. That really shouldn't be happening.
No, not at all. It is just an utter domination right now.
Still
Choice
5
A1
minutes,
now
by
going
the
to
way.
be dead. Stalker gets a headshot. And there's the overclock now. Barrier goes up, but it's going to be broken rather quickly. They do pull back around the corners. Unique has the rally rolling. Looking for a little bit more, but the overclock widely not going to find too much value, but it does zone back the Guangzhou charge as Prophet goes on a bit of a secret mission. Slinking around the back. He is behind enemy lines. See if he can find anything with the pulse bomb. He's going to be throwing it now off screen. Looks like the answer is going to be no. Immortality Field was used as well by Faraway to try to keep everybody alive, but they're still suffering an immense amount of damage, and Prophet still manages to get that kill. Stun on the Unique, Krong at a sliver of HP. Throwing everything that they can to try to keep him sustained, but it's not going to happen. Choice A1, now the last man standing. He gets broken out of the duplicate and has to jet away. The push will come through, and that has to be an Overwatch 2 record, surely. 4 minutes
Definitely
and
an
8
Overwatch
seconds.
2 record. I can't remember what the Overwatch 1 record is. Stats Lab would have to be online for me to find that out. But for an Overwatch 2 record, I don't know. I'll have to say that it is. I'm just going to say that it is because I haven't seen a faster icon vaulter yet. 352. For those that want to do the maths, that was the total amount of time that the Seoul Dynasty took to push from A to B, full completion. One attempt the entire way through. The Seoul Dynasty did not lose a single fight. In fact, this one's really interesting, Achilleos. There's only one death on the entire Seoul attack, and that's creative. Everybody else is deathless. 0 deaths on everybody else except for the one on creative. That's it.
Yeah. There was
Krong has the only kill. Krong is the only kill from the charge. That's it.
There was so little going on in that I actually wanted to double check my medieval battlements and whatnot terminology. Turns out it's not portcullis, it's portcullis. There's no I in there. So my bad on that one.
Yeah,
but,
you baited
I
people.
was correct
like,
about the rampart.
Spell port.
Nailed that.
Spell port, add the I, and everyone's like, wait a minute. I added the I, and I can't find the word.
People are
baited by Achilleos.
Achilleos, that's not how you spell portcullis. I'm going to yell at you in the chat right now. But it's all good. We got there in the end, as did the Dynasty. And they got there rather quickly. 408, I mean, good lord. What do you even do right now if you're the charge?
They finished the whole map within the regulation time of just A. That's crazy. That is something else. I can't even remember what the Overwatch 1 records were. They were definitely quick, but this is something to behold for sure. Guangzhou charge now. A lot of work to do. And you have to remember the Seoul Dynasty got A snowballed very quickly from Prophet, just getting that disgusting Hanzo pick onto Choice F1. Choi, and Choi's dead again, so he's still the first pick on A, just on the other side of the map.
Speaking of which, they're just not letting Choice A1 play the game at all. They saw that he was very much a big win condition for Charge yesterday, but they have been shutting him down.
I think the Hanzo would be good here for him as well because they would have some pressure on the Prophet. Playing the Tracer here means it's a lot of pressure for Choi to get into the back line and pressure behind, so you can start to see that now. Stalker's even on the chase, somewhat. He's not fully committing to the chase. So Choi wants to really play the Tracer. I mean, this is kind of where it has to start, right? You need to have some backline control, force people to turn around for you. But Charge still have to push in. Like, you can't just have Choi there. The rest of the team needs to make some moves.
Yeah, they just can't do anything. The ones that are making moves on the side of the Dynasty. And we're already nearly, half the time bank drained away. They're looking for Faraway, who will manage to take down
that's
Prophet
the second
at the very
kill.
end.
That's the second kill.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Seoul Dynasty, 2 deaths now. Unacceptable. They've died twice this map. 2 minutes and something left. 2:12, whatever. Ultimate's coming online. Unique looking for the window. So if they can sort of Actually, they won't be able to do too much because Smurf will just counter that, won't he? There he goes.
Yeah, there's the Flux. The Vitality Field comes down. Unique and Kronk still
2
very
HP.
low, though. Low HP. Managing to survive. Fields traded. Krong still under fire, but will finally start getting top back up. Unique is dumping those right clicks as fast as he possibly can. It's far away. Tries to get him, but Stalker finds a headshot. Prophet gets far away. Velt will finally fire back, but is quickly traded thereafter. Stalker going to have plenty of time now to return. Choice A1
that's not bad.
on the backside. Does find an elimination. That's good pickoffs here to try to help them get through, but now Choice A1 is staggered.
I mean, that's a huge pick, though. I actually think the situation is it's not quite advantageous for the Charge, but at least be even. As Choi comes back, Vindame's also on the way back, but Vindame's run back is slightly longer, and he is a reasonably slow-ish character, so surely Charge can get some momentum off of this. They have the Flux advantage here as well. Creative will be able to counter, but at least it'll give some way of entry for the Charge.
Okay, duplicate here for Prophet. They're managing to keep him alive through this, so the Flux could come through. He keeps going so low. They haven't been able to break it, and now the Flux will come in. Unfortunately, it's going to whip because Krong already got taken down by Stalker. So Prophet will just go back into his natural Echo form and get a sticky bomb kill here on a Choice A1. 47 seconds now remaining. Nearly 4 ultimates available for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Can they utilize them? Can they set foot on point A?
And I want you to pay attention to something here as well. Look at the charge timer currently at 35. When it reaches 8 seconds remaining, that is about when the Seoul Dynasty finished the map. 52, right? Yeah, it is. So, yeah. 8 seconds remaining, that's when Seoul Dynasty finished the whole map.
Yep. Well, definitely speed ran it, and oh my goodness, now Unique is going to go down. The Immortality Field no longer available. Prophet, 5 HP into the back line, goes up over top of the rooftop to try to get some healing through, and he will receive it. Flux not going to be able to find anything because of the trance. Krong isolated, taken down, was there to force out OT, but as far away falls. That is just going to be the bleed down on the overtime. That is going to be the series done and dusted. It started out decently competitive. That kind of carried through over into the initial parts of map number 2, but here on Eichenwalde, it was just not close at all. Seoul Dynasty, I mean, closing out the series faster than Boston drops players. This is just utterly impeccable from them.
Woo! Okay. Okay, they're rebuilding. They got some new people coming in. It's fine. They're professional. Seoul Dynasty here. I think this was expected. Everyone probably looks at this match and, yep, had to sneak one in there. You know, we'll keep beating that one until it dies. Maybe it's already done. Who knows? The point is, and Seoul, speaking of, you know, stop it. The Charge is already dead. You're beating them down. You know, they've only got 5 kills here, but we did expect this result. I think the silver linings you have to take away. I know it's upsetting to see Charge get kind of dumpstered in this way, but it is the first seeded team and the defending champions of the Kickoff Clash versus currently the 7th ranked team. This was probably always going to happen. What we're looking for is small glimpses, small moments. You can look at Charge and say, hey, these are improvements. These are things that are actually working for the Charge. So throwing some much needed bones here towards the Charge and, you know, extending some olive branches to say it wasn't all lost. Colosseo was honestly pretty damn good. You had a major comeback coming through from the Charge, a very difficult comeback, a good A defense / push coming through from the Charge as well on Dorado. Let's forget about Eichenwalde. That one you'll probably want to forget indeed. But for the Charge, I don't think you could realistically expect them to win a map today. If they did, it would have been a miracle, but to look even somewhat competitive on the first map, I think is reasonable.
And that was the thing. That was the miracle. They almost pulled it off, and then from there, it just steadily fizzled out all the way here into Eichenwalde, which, you know, will be another incident, and we won't talk about it moving forward. But Smurf, let's talk more about him, because he is, in fact, going to be our player of the match. We were pretty confident about it after his performance there on Dorado in Map 2, and he just continued to do absolutely excellently.
And my final fun fact for Smurf for the evening here is that he finishes Eichenwalde completely deathless. The only deathless player on the server, did not die on the entire map. Both attack and defense, the entire map did not die. And without it, I mean, it doesn't even need to be said, but considerably outplayed everybody in the Guangzhou Charge, including Sigma Krong there as well, who, to be fair to Krong, only so much you can do when your entire team is kind of struggling in that kind of moment there. But across the entire series, you know, the Sigma on Colosseo, fantastic. The Winston on Dorado, fantastic. Especially so considering that Winston is quite difficult to play in this meta. And we've seen even moments where Smurf dives in with a nano, gets completely fragged up. It happens, even to the best of them. But, you know, once we got into that B defense, it was all over Smurf. Fantastic map control. And I'll say it again, I truly do think he is the best tank in the world currently in 5v5. He is our best tank in Overwatch 2 entirely. Some of the NA Andes will probably disagree with that one. If you do, you haven't watched enough Seoul Dynasty. Smurf is just a cut above.
I think in the past, I definitely would have challenged that when he wasn't playing here in APAC. I think that they're, you know, especially with like Shanghai, how they were performing last season and whatnot, I think there was definitely a strong argument to be made for other candidates, but I agree. I think it's very much just cut and dry. He's just so far above everybody right now. Looks utterly impeccable and continues to lead the Dynasty to these one-sided victories as they just maintain their spot as the kings of APAC. But we're not done yet. Obviously, we have our game break that's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. I don't know what nonsense Avril and I are going to discuss during that because there wasn't too much to talk about regarding this game. Maybe sing some more praises over to Smurf. I don't know. We'll figure it out during the break, which is coming up right now, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to our great game break there from match number 1 out of 3 of the day. Not too much to discuss here. This was kind of cut and dry. Seoul Dynasty looking utterly impeccable with a 3-0 victory. A lot of players on the side of the charge not really getting the opportunity to play the game there on that last map, only finding 5 kills, etc., etc. Let's look forward, though, to the other 2 series that we have today, Avril, because those are the ones that are going to be carrying heavier implications for Midseason Madness.
Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, as you mentioned, Seoul already in the lead, Charge already eliminated. one team's guaranteed already in, the other team's guaranteed already out. This one was kind of just for fun, and I'm going to say we did have fun, and I'm sure, Troy had fun on the first map. Smurf and everyone else Seoul had fun for the remaining maps, including the first one as well. Looking forward, as, Killer Sight will be heading off after this and put you in the loving hands of Lemon, Kiwi, and Leg Day for the remaining 2 matches, those being Valiant versus Chengdu, Shanghai versus Philadelphia. We'll offer a little bit of our analysis here before we head out, which is to say that for Valiant Chengdu, it's a super important game right, Achilles, because that one really decides who remains in the race. There is not that many opportunities left. Because Philly beat Hangzhou Spark yesterday, the door/window closes ever so slightly tighter, and for the Chengdu Hunters and Valiant, they both need to go flawless for the rest of the stage. 4 more games to play. All 4 must be won by either team to even have a shot at taking the position away from either Philly or Dragons. And for the Valiant and Hunters, well, to get 4 and 0, they have to go through each other. Only one team can go flawless here. The other one must lose, which means the winner of this gets to remain in the race in what becomes now a 3-horse race between Shanghai, Philly, and the winner of Chengdu versus LA Valiant. And the loser, unfortunately, will be basically out of contention for the Midseason Madness. So much to play for there.
Heavily important matches, and given the way, Chengdu Hunters kind of did get pressed just yesterday versus the Charge, the Valiant have been on the up and up. That's going to be an incredible, exciting series, outside of the implications just on the play itself, I do believe. And then, of course, Fusion versus Dragons. Can the Dragons get their revenge? Can the Fusion continue to look good after they took down the Spark yesterday? Finally got that Map 5 win after nearly 2 years, so Fusion probably going to be feeling pretty darn good, but can never take the Dragons, lightly.
And just a quick note on the Dragons before we head off is they've gone 0-6 in maps against Fusion so far. They've only played the Fusion twice, and they've lost to Fusion twice as well in a row. They haven't won a single map versus Fusion just yet. Shanghai struggled last week. Can they bounce back this week? Fusion have already started to bounce back, and by the way, now on equal points to Shanghai. If Shanghai do not bounce back and Fusion do, Fusion will be safe from kind of relegation out of this tournament, and Shanghai will be in the firing lines of whoever wins between the Chengdu Hunters and the LA Valiant. So even the winner of this game is important because they get ahead of the other one to try and get that 3rd seed.
Yeah, very much is, and that action, I can't wait to watch it, and that's what I'm going to be doing, joining you guys there in the chat alongside Avril, because coming up next, we have those series brought to you by Leg Day and Lemon Kiwi. They'll be guiding you through the action here for the rest of the evening. Myself and Avril will see you again tomorrow, but goodbye from us. Make sure you stay tuned for the next 2 games.
Good morning, everyone. We got match 2 and 3. I know that first one was a quick one. Well, we got some better ones, I think, around the corner. At least let's hope so. We're the Double L's. This is Leg Day. I'm Lemon Kiwi. You guys have seen us in APAC before, but we've also seen these two next teams a time or two. The Chengdu Hunters versus the LA Valiant are up to bat.
Well, I mean, only one of them we might be seeing in the mid-season madness. Starting off, when we're talking about the LA Valiant, they had a languishing beginning to the season, just showing these sparks of brightness after a rebuild. Of course, 2021, we don't talk about LA Valiant in 2021. But 2022, we're seeing a little bit more, and we're seeing a lot better as well. They've recently bought in some new reinforcements in the form of Marvel and Molly, but it's actually going to be Sarsin who's starting today. But looking at this, Lemon, I still want to focus it on one of the reinforcements, Molly, who I think has been a significant upgrade over Coldest and has been very reliable and a powerhouse in that flex support role. There's a reason why Molly was on that championship team in the Shanghai Dragons and was considered a good enough talent to remain on that roster for a while. But can the rest of the Valiant work around him?
Well, the rest of the Valiant are working quite hard. I mean, they didn't make the kickoff clash, but when it comes to the mid-season madness qualifiers, they are actually undefeated. Now, to be fair, they've went up against Guangzhou and Philly, but still incredible and looking even better now that they've added Marvel into the lineup, which is giving them a Doomfist specialist, as he was on the Boston Uprising when it came to the Western region. Sashin still has limited flexibility for them with the Zarya and the Sigma. He just really needs to understand the give and the take when it comes to space on those tanks, especially when you're the only one at the front now in 5v5. Let's take a look at their opposition though, the Chengdu Hunters, another team that was not at the kickoff clash, and a lot of their identity is centered around their dives and especially Gaga.
Yeah, Gaga on the dive, we were talking about how Marvel's got this huge hero pool behind him, but the same can be said of Gaga. Every single main tank is definitely within Gaga's pool. An incredibly impressive wrecking ball. And if there's one thing that the previous Chengdu Hunters needed, it was definitely not a good wrecking ball, because they had Ameng on the roster, but Gaga's good enough at wrecking ball to be able to just go toe-to-toe with Ameng when it comes to being able to play that wrecking ball, and has the Reinhardt, the Winston on top of that, maybe a little bit of a Doom as well. And at the moment it seems like definitely Chengdu Hunters are all about that kind of dive identity, having the power of Jinmu's quick insertions alongside Gaga's mastery of the ball and Winston.
At least Jinmu is in his seat. He's ready to go. Backdrop just pulled up because Jinmu is about to pull up, okay? Because this is the star player when it comes to the Chengdu Hunters. I would say that easily the #1 Genji in APAC, and the statistics speak for itself. #1 in hero damage, Dragon Blade kills, and second in Dragon Blade efficiency on the Genji. So I like that with Gaga's Hammond or Winston, it synergizes really well with Jinmu's Genji, which is interesting that they lean more on the Genji side, while the Western region prefers a lot more Tracer for their dive. So I love that APAC kind of gets away or just has a unique take on the meta, although Genji's becoming more returning in the meta, while as Leave gets to sit back on the Sojourn and just chill and poke people down.
Yeah, we've seen Jinmu play Tracer here and there, but we definitely agree that Leave is the better Tracer of the two, and Jinmu's Genji is a little bit too powerful sometimes to leave on the sidelines, and the Genji does have its place, as we've seen before, in being able to move up and having some quick explosive damage when it comes to brawls. When you're trying to overwhelm a Sigma, for instance, with your own Sigma and Brigator at your back, Jinmu as a Genji can essentially play as a frontline DPS, and that can really create a lot of distraction for Leave to be able to find final blows and claim space elsewhere to generate crossfires.
I'm excited for this match, also because we just haven't casted APAC in like a hot minute. Like the last time we did it was what, the kickoff clash qualifiers, and then we're like, oh, I just woke up from my coma and I was like, I can't wait to see the Shanghai Dragons, which will be our last match of the day. I was like, man, they're doing good. I predicted them to go all the way in the kickoff clash, and then I was like, I'm sorry, what? They're 0-6. So the times have changed with the most recent patch, with the soldier nerfs and of course the big up and up with the flex supports, kicking butt in the meta quite literally. So I'm wondering how the dives of Chengdu are really going to do, and mainly how LA Valiant, despite having such limitations in their tank role, how much better they've looked with Marvel. And after VOD reviewing, I think Marvel adds a lot more decisiveness to Valiant's engages.
Let's have a look at our maps at Lemon to see where this one is going to be decided. Of course, we do have a preset map selection during the qualification for both Midseason Madness and for most of our tournaments, I believe. The loser picks comes in the tournament cycle itself, and we're in double push at the moment, so New Queen Street is going to be where we're beginning. Canada Day has passed, but today we shall be looking at the beautiful streets of Toronto, and this has been one of the places where I think we see a little bit more Tracer than Genji, but over in North America, where you and I have been hanging out a bit more, Lemon, we've seen some wacky things on New Queen Street, all about the speed and the power of moving in with a Sombra and a Tracer together and simply trying to outpace an enemy Doomfist, which is incredibly popular in North America. A little bit less Doomfist, it feels like, in APAC.
Well, when it comes to both these teams, they've seen recent success on this very map. Just looking back at LA Valiant's history, they fully captured New Queen Street for the win against the Philadelphia Fusion in Week 7. That went all the way to a Game 5. And it was Sasha and Zarya with Easy Han's Sojourn, Innovation Sombra, and a Lucio Zen, which we don't get to see too often. And just recently with Chengdu, when they went up against the Charge just yesterday, it was Gaga's Hammond with Leaf Sojourn, Jinmu Tracer, and a Zen Ana. So a bit of different approaches from either sides.
There might be trouble here for the side of Los Angeles Valiant if Jinmu can try and find some purchase towards the back with this Tracer, because they don't have a huge amount of healing, really. And already Innovation has managed to get Nisha quite low.
Yeah, it looks like some good control of Statue with Sashin leading the way for the Valiant. He's a good brawler, and Gaga may just want to ignore Sashin and jump on someone like Easy Han, who's going to be the easiest target. You know who's an easy target? Innovation, apparently, who's been slept already this match. But Easy Han has his back, snipes the supports of the Chengdu Hunters, and that's a quick fight for the Valiant.
So let's have a quick look at the overall LA Valiant comp and what it means, what needs to be done. When you look at the explosive damage that comes out of a Zenyatta alongside Discord Orb and the speed of Lengza as well, it's short fights in the interest of the LA Valiant. They don't want to try and beat Monk in a protracted battle where he's eventually going to hit one of those bardic grenades and doom a member of the Los Angeles Valiant. Sarsen might even be saving bubbles to cleanse anti-heals in the midst of these as well.
Still some good card push, 30 meters. Innovation with Mega Control, which is always a safe spot that the defensive team are going to take and keep, especially someone like Molly, who's been slept, quickly woken up. Not an assassination that Jinmu could find right now, as Easy Han's keeping patrol of the flank and has spotted the Hunters behind them. Doesn't look like he's too concerned. More getting towards the bot and counter-rotating to the left side as you see the Hunters grab the high ground.
Innovation has hacks and packs as well, which keeps a good amount of territory control basically free for the LA Valiant. Gaga's taking so much damage before the fights even happen, but finally Sasa might be overwhelmed.
Oh, Easy Han. He's charged up. He's got his sights set onto Monk and doesn't connect on that shot as Monk gives the nano over. But I mean, this is just pure death after the EMP from Innovation got them low, and a great finish for the Valiant as they continue to extend their lead.
And I love how Sarsen's playing around the central Nexus terminal, Lemon, where that Mega Pack is. Hacked by Innovation, 250 HP, burst healing. This is going to be the first checkpoint capped. And sure, Innovation has fallen away, but actually that slowed down Chengdu on their way to contest. And the bot was going to be pausing here anyway for a quick scratch and to watch those bollards fall on down. And now there's so much to try and defend Valiant with both their support ultimates available.
It's a hack. Jinmu, pulse bomb. It's just taking the card away. It's like taking candy from a baby, and Sasha does 100 energy. He could jump into this back line at any time, but knows the entirety of the Chengdu Hunters could turn around, but without Monk, they don't have a lot of healing, so it's just up to the Valiant to just go and rotate behind the Hunters and take the bot back and extend this past 57 meters. Now, there's still a ton of time left in the game, and the Hunters, they have the ults, and Gaga thinks it's winnable. He's using the Primal Rage and has already killed 2, and if he resets Sashin's energy here, he was close to 100. That's detrimental for the Valiant, but at least we see signs of life out of the Hunters.
That's going to make Sashin a little bit less dangerous in these forthcoming battles, at least until he can generate enough energy to get back up to those higher numbers. For now, you can see that Jinmu is playing a little bit further forward, looking for these early engagements. The thing is, Innovation has such a freedom of information by being able to ping while in stealth and have a very well-informed dive for the Valiant.
See some control for the Hunters. But I'm worried about Valiant taking angles around them. They're just going to try and poke Gaga down. Nisha is the focus of innovation, but Leave has his back. Nisha is able to keep the sound barrier. 5 versus 4 for the Hunters. They're trying to just get some push here on the barricade. Finally, Gaga just jumps inside of the gym, and Leave gets up in there too, and has already sniped one. There's no supports left of the Valiant, and now you can see Hunters at the 30 meter, and now will fight win, will get close to matching the 57 meters and potentially even take a lead.
Yeah, should be viable here to at least begin to grab that checkpoint, and of course there is going to be a pause after it, which will be a important battle. Innovation poking away, really wants that EMP, only 20% away. Combining that with a Graviton again might be everything, but for now it's all about contesting and getting Sars into position to use that big grav.
Oh, Gaga's so low. Monk has the Nano. Usually want to give it to the Winston, although I don't mind a Jinmu Nano if he's feeling like frying. See, Innovation was trying to lock down Jinmu. They both leave. There's the Nano onto Gaga. He's going after the supports. He's actually just a sniper boy. And forces out the Transcendence from Molly. Perfect patience. Now, how does Valiant use this resource? It's the Graviton catching 2 of the Hunters. Gaga is hacked and unable to use the Primal. Probably didn't want to anyway. As card control back to the Valiant, and Hunters never took that lead back, by the way.
The focus fire on Leaf there was so important. I mean, killing him before Nisha's sound barrier came out was imperative. And that was because Innovation could do 40% more damage to the hacked targets as well. So they just evaporated Leaf. There was no overclock for that most important battle. Innovation continues to demand this. And look at that. Leaf has to use the leap. So now, or rather Gaga has to use the leap. So now his engagement is going to be weaker for a couple of seconds.
Only a 6-meter advantage for the Valiant. They got some push, and now they're just going to try and play defensively. The top of this tunnel is such a great spot, a great position for Easyhan to not only have cover, but also have just angles above the shields of Gaga. Here's the sound barrier engage. Sashin gonna get especially aggressive. Easyhan overclocking. Jinmu safe in the shield only from now. Whips the pulse bomb on Easyhan, who slides past him as Sashin destroys the front line. But Gaga is peeling so well for his back line and actually just dove past, killed Langsa and Molly. So throughout this engage, I felt like Easyhan and Sashin had 2 different jobs and accomplished neither, and Hunters take the fight.
Yeah, if Gaga can find the timing here of Langsa's amp it up, Langsa and Molly are super vulnerable to getting dove by this Winston. Sure, Molly can try and kick him away, but that means you have to move into a very dangerous place. Easyhan takes out Nisha early, and maybe Monk can seal this with a nano boost.
Oh, Jinwoo's on the flank, and he's going after Molly, I believe, and he doesn't have Transcendence and leave. He pushes from the front. It's a pinch maneuver from the Hunters, who are so desperate to get that 6 extra meters to take back the lead. 3 minutes left, and a few more rounds of ults will happen. Sasha needs to play safe. 90 energy plus. He is a force to be reckoned with on the front line, and has to demand the attention of the Hunters, who have since left, even though Jinwoo is appearing in the back line. We're looking to see how Gaga is going to maneuver around this, and there is the dive from the Hunters, who have already dismantled Sasha and reset his energy, and no grab even came out.
Sasha was caught in a poor position there, crunched around the bus, meant that it was easy for Monk to move around the back and hit a Bartic Grenade, get rid of all that healing. And Innovation's actually sort of functioning as a third pseudo-healer at the moment by hacking these health packs. The thing is though, Sashin does not have the mobility to get to the health packs quickly, and so needs to demand huge resources from Molly and Langsa, and that means Innovation can't deal with Jinmu effectively.
Oh, is Molly going to be forced to use Transcendence here? Yes, he does. Great pressure from Jinmu. Pulse Bomb doesn't stick, hoping to burst through that healing. And then Sashin, well, when Jinmu isn't able to kill and he has the Transcendence, Sasha gets to just laser everyone from front to back. And Hunters head for the hills. They do not want to be staggered at this moment. Only a 2-meter lead for the Valiant with 2 minutes left.
With 2 minutes remaining. It's anybody's game still. Those 2 meters could prove incredibly fateful. No ults on the board just yet, but Easyhan is getting remarkably close to that overclock. And it's incredibly dangerous as well for the side of Chengdu Hunters, who are all incredibly vulnerable, including Gaga. So easy to headshot on that Winston and do huge amounts of damage to. And Gaga's been bullied out thus far. Innovation's been doing huge amounts of damage to him.
I wonder if Jinmu has the potential to go onto a flank in Mega, where Langsa and Molly are hanging out at, and That pinch maneuver is what's been really successful for the Hunters, and there he is. He manages to lock down Innovation, I guess, without the translocate, and that 5v4 just unleashes his fight. The sound barrier too from Nisha. They want to keep up this tempo. They go after Molly, and they execute. And this is a great fight for Hunters to take, because this will get them the lead with 1 minute left, and if they win this next fight, this will be really tough for Valiant to come back.
Yeah, Valiant losing out in the poke war quite often here because they just don't have the healing to try and sustain themselves through it, and that meant that they lost control of Timmy pushing the barricade for so long. Now Monk is in a safe position, ready to deploy this nano at will, likely onto Gaga to try and save him from this early aggression.
Sound barrier first from Langsa, but it wasn't able to save Molly. Now this overclock from EasyHan has to go big. He has the bubbles from Sashin, but he's just overwhelmed by Leave and Gaga, including the Leave overclock, allowing him to take multiple 100 energy shots into him, eventually winning the Soldier in 1v1. This propels Hunters in this fight to keep this boat sailing 89 meters and growing with 20 seconds left.
Gaga still with a Primal Rage. He can take risks if he wishes to. A big stick goodbye, EasyHan, and that could be Valiant put to bed, Lemon.
A couple of seconds left for Valiant to touch. This will be last fight. If they give it up, that's the first map for the Hunters. After really it was the Valiant that started off with a 60-meter push. And look how the Hunters have grown up. You got a 4v4. It's up to the Valiant to stay on the cart. It's overtime into effect. EasyHan is there on his own, but at least he has Molly's Transcendence. Innovation's EMP comes out and hits all the remaining members of the Hunters, and they fall one by one. Monk and Nisha trying to get out and not get staggered, but Innovation is on the hunt. A great boot by Nisha, but you're just delaying the inevitable. Monk manages to get out. No EasyHan's on the flank, and these staggers could be really critical for the Valiant to get an edge.
Innovation falling to that Disruptor field is going to be an issue. A 4 versus 4 here if Chengdu Hunters wish to engage in it. And remember, Gaga has the Primal Rage here, and it's overtime. So Timmy needs to stay attended to by the LA Valiant. If you can knock people off of this bot, that's a win. You don't necessarily need to kill them all. And all out of resources right now of the LA Valiant. It's got to be the vanilla mechanics.
This is possible for the Valiant, but it's not looking good when you don't have any ultimates. Monk has a nano, but Gaga dies!
What?
Was able to use the Primal in time! Too much burst from the Sojourn player of EasyHan! Now what do the Hunters do without Gaga? Leave is hacked, taking extra damage from Innovation, playing safe. Innovation is going to try and stealth behind them, see if he can get any pressure on the Monk and Nisha. They know he has nano, and look how passive Hunters are playing. They have high ground, they just need to go for pokes. Now Gaga has returned, and the nano actually is given to Leave, who just presents himself on the barricade. Sashin is antied. There's no takes remaining for the Valiant, and Molly's gone too. EasyHan has to go absolutely feral with the overclock as best at Leave, but no other picks are coming out from the Valiant, and they were only 20 meters short. Overtime goes away, and the Chengdu Hunters will take map number 1.
In the end, Lemon, that was all she wrote. When Sarsen had used both the bubbles on the cart, there was not enough healing to sustain him. Sure, in the middle of those brawls, when you could just duck in and out of battles and pick up hacked health packs, you had a little bit more sustainability as a Zarya. But when you're forced to stay on the robot, when you have to remain there on overtime and take the damage, a Zenyatta and a Lucio is simply not enough. Chengdu Hunters turned it around at the last moment, and Gaga's Primals have been something else. As few and far between as they have been thus far, they've both done incredible damage.
Yeah, it's just